Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. See what happens when it rains? Smiles come from everywhere, and as part of our Leadership Cayman program, we want you to join us because next year might just be your year, and you'll see why. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Afternoon, welcome. Thanks very much for joining us, and I hope you're enjoying what's on the outside. Not just the rain and the blessings one high, but the idea that it can wash away sin and make some of us feel energized and enthused. And who knows, might be so instrumental that we sound like a chorus in a wonderful choir. Miss Vanessa Hansen, good afternoon. How are you?
Oh, good afternoon, Sterling. Thanks so much. It's always good to see you.
Thank you. Likewise.
And I don't mind the rain. It's good for the garden.
Oh, I love the rain,
Yeah.
I love the rain. I mean, long ago when my son was young, he would sing, I thought it said, I left the rains in Africa, but, I left Lorraine. So I'm not sure. Now I'm all confused. Thank you for laughing along. It's not even a 2-drink minimum. But it reminds us of how life is so to be embraced, right? And I think as I look at that, the idea of a program like Leadership Cayman, not unlike similar programs, I see the St. Pete sort of sister chapter in a sense, it's not just for those who have only been here for a short time, it's for many of us to realize how easy and unfettered access can be to our private and public sectors or officials, but yet how we take it for granted, how we don't see what we see every day because we don't see it through the lens. So as we get into the discussion through you, I would ask not only to tell us more about leadership, remind us what's going on, but I'm excited, and I said, you know what, I'll have Miss Vanessa introduce everybody, but we'll see where it takes us.
I think you're right. We're so fortunate here in the Cayman Islands. When you think about it, it's like I get to see my MP when I go for a walk around my neighborhood. Like we actually do.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
We do have access to the leaders of our country. We get to know the leaders of major organizations that are really helping drive the economy here. And it was interesting. Leadership Cayman has been around, and Swan Sandoval is here. She's the Executive Director of Programs for Chamber of Commerce. And I think it started in 2015. Do you know when the leadership came in? Or 2010. Was it 2010? So here we are in 2023. I was fortunate enough to be a part of the program last year, and then I was asked to be a mentor this year, which of course I said yes to that. This is a Chamber of Commerce program. We can let Swan talk a little bit more about that. But I think what makes it so unique is it really takes a deep dive into all aspects of life in Cayman. So it's the social aspects, it's the community aspects, it's the business aspects, it's the government aspects. And you get to do all of these amazing seminars every 2 weeks. It's a 6-month program. I think if you talk to anybody who's done it, even somebody like me, who I sort of thought, well, I've been here for 25 years and, this is really home for me. And I think I probably know a lot of my stuff. But you don't really, you don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah, that's
and
something
so
you know,
it's when you get, right? And so it's when you get that opportunity to really dig in and get that access. And I also realized last year, how many people are so incredibly passionate about Cayman being successful and successful for everyone who lives here. And I think that for me was it was very moving. And then even in the process, you have to apply, you go through interview phases, and then you realize when you're put together with this group of people that you're with people who have maybe been here a year, you're with people who have been here, they're born and raised, you're with people who work in government, you're with people who work in financial services. So even just that experience of working with the rest of your class and the diversity that brings, I thought was really special. And so still, I'm sure it's this way for all of the other classes, but we have our own WhatsApp group chat and we have our own socials now, and we're constantly in contact and keeping up and, looking, it's, somebody gets a promotion and congratulating each other. And it's just this real, actually I have goosebumps right now. Becomes this, it's like your Leadership Cayman class family. So sorry, that was a long way to say it's an excellent program. And I'm excited today that you were able to make time for us. And as I said, we have Swan here from the chamber, and then we have Orla O'Connor, she's part of the Leadership Cayman class of 2023 and one of the co-organizers of the class project this year. So I don't know how you want to dig into that.
No, we're going to have fun, right? Because as we go to, Miss Swan, I was thinking back to the early sort of discussions, and Will Pano, as the CEO of the chamber, was mentioning to me, and I thought exciting, and then he thought the cost, and I go, that's relatively inexpensive for what you get, but the timing and the like, and now even with a sense of regret not doing it, I think was one of Mr. Linton's grandsons was the drivers beyond in the initial days. A decade plus later, you can just see the program becoming that much better. So this one, from your perspective, a proper intro, you could even have, Vanessa say, I'm coming to the stage now.
Swanson, Executive Director of Programs, Chamber of Commerce. No, but thank you so much. I do appreciate it, but no, thank you. Well, from my perspective, I think it's just an amazing program. I mean, to Vanessa's point, everyone comes together after, the orientation and that kind of first retreat. And you look in the room and you're all so different, but so similar. And so, I'll double down on that, where everyone that participates, you just see, in uniformly across the board, everyone has a really deep interest in how can we improve our country.
Indeed.
Like, give me more information so that we can be those driving forces, right? Those leaders, depending on whatever sector they're in. What can I do for my country today, right? Yeah.
Sounds like, a very regal presidential statement. What can I do for my country? So, Ms. Orla, welcome. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
I want you to feel as welcome and as invited and as comfortable, because the hospitality here, you're amongst friends. And share as you wish, but I was wondering what motivated you? What do you, want to get out of the program? Why did you want to get in to the program?
Yeah, it's really simple. Just as Vanessa said, it's just so wonderful here in Cayman to be able to really get to know people at all levels, people in all kind of disciplines across society, and Leadership Cayman offers just that. And I have found my Leadership Cayman family this year. It is just wonderful. I've been able to meet people from all different professions, different job. We all do completely different things. Some people from financial services, some people working in government. Everybody on the course is at kind of mid-level management and above. And so we all have similar I'm going to say issues. I don't mean issues, but we're all dealing with similar things in our professional lives, in our home lives. And it's just so interesting to see it all mesh together from different perspectives. And I just really wanted to know more about Cayman and get to know the place that I live more than I could do from just going in and doing my job, every day. And just being able, seeing all of the socioeconomic factors at play is just so important. And I don't think many other countries would offer this opportunity. We're a small place and we have the luxury of the vantage point of being able to see things kind of like in a microcosm.
Yeah.
And so our seminars are wide-ranging. We have our second last seminar tonight, which is going to be sad because we've been together as a group for like 7 months now. And our seminar tonight is on education, which is obviously, you know, a pertinent topic for many people. And we have discussed all sorts of things from the environment to you know, government is coming up next. We had our opening retreat in the BRAC because we never want to forget the sister islands, very much part of the Cayman Islands. Yes. And so that was super the way it was organised. This year we opened with our retreat in the BRAC. So we really have felt and thought about the sister islands throughout all of the discussions that we've been having. You know, we've talked about the media, literally anything that you can think about that touches your daily life, we have spoken about. And the idea is that we all really hope to be able to make a difference, that we bring that conversation back to our professional roles, we bring it home with us, we bring it through to our children, and we really help to make a difference. And I think that's what Leadership Cayman is all about, is wanting to make a difference and then actually making that difference, which is what the class project is there to do, to really give back to the community in which we live. Exactly.
If I may ask of you though, as you've gone through the program, were there anything that stood out that was unexpected, positive and negative? But you know, we have perceptions and sometimes misgivings and even you know misconceptions. Was there anything that you thought, and then afterwards you go, this isn't what I thought, or it's worse, or it's better? Anything in particular?
I think kind of the overarching theme is that everything comes back to building for the future, right? You know, everything seems to be coming back to education and really investing in our children, our underlings, making sure that we're training people for the jobs that are going to be available for them in years to come. So I think planning for the future. There's nothing that's hugely surprised me. I think I've really welcomed the openness of the discussions, and perhaps that was a surprise, how candid everyone has been, from the speakers to those participating in the class. And I think that's so important, because the only way you can have a sensible discussion is if people are honest and open, and that has been really refreshing and I think really helpful. Everybody has a point of view. Everybody's point of view is their own. Some are, you know, some share commonalities, some don't. But it's been a really lovely way and hopefully productive to share points of view and often change people's minds.
I felt that way too. It was very respectful discussions that we were able to have, and you know, we all come in with our lens of our upbringing and experiences into anything, and that was one of the things that I thought was pretty special, was just being able to be in that group and say, well, this is my perspective on that situation, and somebody go, well, did you think about it from this way? And no, you didn't, right? Because so to be able to have those discussions, but in a very productive, respectful way, I thought that was pretty unique.
Right, and I've never seen that before in any of the other kind of forums I've been in through my professional or personal life. So it really is unique, and it is special. It's definitely a very special program. I would encourage anyone to do it. It's quite a commitment, but the commitment is worth it.
Like so many things, we realize, you know, we are more alike than we are different, and easily, you know, divided sometimes simply because we allow labels to be assigned. So when we come back from the break, let's chat more. Maybe remind our listeners, hey, next year is not far away. They can be a part of it. There's a limited number with anything. So how do you get ahead? All right, when we come back, we have a chat and share more about this year's success, but also the promise and potential of tomorrow. All right, join us after the break.
You know you've dreamed of that Mercedes, the smooth leather, the style, luxury that feels so good. Ooh la la. With the prestigious 2023 Mercedes-Benz GLA 200 up for grabs in this year's Lions Club of Grand Cayman Benzorama fundraiser. This is your chance to make that dream come true. Tickets are $25 for one, 3 for $65, or 5 for $100. Benzorama fundraiser tickets are available with Lions Club members and various sales outlets. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman Benzorama fundraiser supports numerous community initiatives, includes sightseeing, Christmas deliveries, restoration, and social services.
Prevention is key. Is your heart at risk? During the month of June, Baptist Health International is offering special pricing for cardiac CT scan for calcium scoring for just 99 CI to patients at high risk for heart disease, the leading cause of deaths worldwide. You are a candidate if you are 40 to 65 years old and have any of the following risk factors: obesity, current or recent smoker, family history of heart disease, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, or diabetes. To request an appointment or for more information, call 749-3304 or visit baptisthealth.ky.
Barry's Golden Jerk, the Cayman Brac sensation, ranked the #1 restaurant in Cayman Brac by TripAdvisor and home of the authentic jerk. Barry's Golden Jerk, serving large portions of the best jerk chicken and pork. Open Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday near the airport, or call 917-6713. Barry's Golden Jerk. It's simply better. The 22nd Annual Talent Exposition of the Arts, Humility, is here. Presented by the New Self-Help Foundation, Sunday, June 25th at the Harquail Theatre. Awesome performances by Rico Rolando, Dream Chasers, Radiance Dance Studio, UCCI Dancers, Centerpoint Dance Studio, Sparks School of Performing Arts, Dwayne Ebanks, and more. Hosted by Anika Connolly and Lloyd Barker. Part of the proceeds from the talent exposition go to support the training program of the arts. Tickets available from #1 Shoe Shop and Winner's Circle Sports. Prepaid $15 or $20 at the gate. The 2023 Talent Exposition of the Arts, Humility, Sunday, June 25th at the Harquail Theatre. Gates open at 5 p.m. Show starts at 6 p.m. Get your tickets today.
Healthcare Pharmacy, caring about your health for the past 25 years. Radio Cayman's premier health show.
Alzheimer's and dementia, are they the same disorder?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Is heard on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor, where they care about your health. Transfer and refill your prescription online. Visit healthcarepharmacy.ky or call 947-8900. Healthcare Pharmacy, now with a second location in Governor's Square. Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you very much for joining us. And the smile on my face is only because of the joy in my heart. It's because I'm reminded that this morning, many things happened, and most important, we were allowed to wake up. So I thank God for that. And I'm grateful that around the table, we have not just the intellect and the inspiration, the enthusiasm and the energy of people who strive to make good things. So again, as we talk about leadership, Cayman, and Ms. Vanessa, through you, as we look at Ms. Swan and Ms. Orla, the idea that it's not just about leadership. It's not just about leadership in a country that is blessed. People who has been highly favored, welcoming, but a country with such great potential whose problems are not only identifiable, but are solvable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that is something that I think we take for granted. And they're solvable because, you said it earlier, we all want Cayman to be successful across all strata in all aspects. And that is a shared ethos that very few places can boast.
Do you know what? If you think about our response to COVID, is I think actually like a really good example of that. Yeah. I was on a Teams call with someone who's a trainer in the States. And, I was like, oh, yeah, we're locked down, but we've got 0 cases and we've done And he goes, oh, wow, you guys all must be really compliant. And I just said, well, I think, it's actually kind of part of our culture here in Cayman is that we're all in this together.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people or places might say that. I feel like we truly, are there issues? Of course, no such thing as a perfect place. Right. But I think that there is a culture, whether you're born here or grew up here or new here, we have this idea of, we are all in this together. And so I might sacrifice a little bit, but it's going to be for the greater good. And, we know what that means. So
I really appreciate you sharing that. And I wish this was another forum to talk about something else.
We could go down another path, I'm sure, yeah.
But if I might, this is what perhaps could contribute to our success even more greatly, in that we share that ethos. That compliance stems from a sense of civility and social harmony that we want to maintain. And in that, it may be possible that as we look at, as the former governor would share publicly, how are we on our roads, not just as pedestrians, cyclists, and other road users, but even property owners. How are we when we're looking at our public spaces? And if we acknowledge that there is something that we can do, because whatever is done and not done impacts us all. Your sort of charity of choice this year, the Meals on Wheels program, I think speaks highly to the idea that a meal isn't just something that provides sustenance. It's an opportunity for fellowship. Yeah. So, as the GM, Madam Meals on Wheels, is that you we should defer to now?
That's me.
How does it feel to, to be part of such a fantastic organization, but to have an incredibly sort of partnership with Leadership Cayman to say, hey, we want to partner with you?
Meals on Wheels has only been in my life for a few years, right before COVID. Mm-hmm. And being chosen this year.
I didn't realize that was...
Oh, yes.
Wow. Okay.
I started with Meals on Wheels December 2019.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So just in time for...
Yeah. They knew what they would...
Yeah, God knew what was going to happen. But this year, being chosen by Leadership Cayman as the charity has really been a great partnership. Not because of the funds, not just because of the funds that are going to come in through this event, but it's the knowledge. It's that ripple effect of the reality of what is going on. One of the things that I tell people, people always ask, can I volunteer? What can I do for Meals on Wheels? There is a place for everyone at Meals on Wheels. Our youngest volunteer is 2 or 3 years old. She goes and hands the meal to the seniors, and the seniors are very happy. There's a place for everyone. And I think sometimes because Cayman is set up the way it is, our seniors are typically isolated because not everybody has a smartphone. Not everybody is on social media. And really that is the way our world revolves. So that day-to-day contact with our volunteers, when a volunteer delivers that meal, it's checking in. It's that wellness check to see how the senior is. It is, sharing the news of the day, even though sometimes our seniors know more news than us. I'm still trying to figure out that secret.
The WhatsApp chains.
Yeah. They listen to radio. So for all of our seniors listening to Radio Cayman today, hello.
Yeah, hello.
But really, it is a privilege to be a part of an organization like Leadership Cayman, because not only are our leaders from Leadership Cayman through the Chamber of Commerce are forerunners, it means that our seniors have importance. And I think a lot of times our seniors are our forgotten people, unfortunately.
Ms. Waller, if I might ask of you, there are wonderful charities and, other sort of entities that exist to do great. 2 questions, how did you select this particular one for this class? And tell us about the fundraiser coming up, but start with that first.
Absolutely. So, we had the pleasure, we hosted 3 charities to come into our class and give a presentation on their cause and what they would do with the funds that the Leadership Cayman class project could generate. Ms. Jennifer was one of those 3, and then the class voted, and she was the deserving winner. It was a very close call, and every year the class chooses a different beneficiary, and so Vanessa can talk a little bit about last year, which was Boys to Men.
Boys to Men last year,
and they had a hugely successful event raising over $70,000, and so we have ours coming up on Saturday, and we hope to beat Vanessa.
It's not competitive at all.
Not at all. Yeah, so we are hosting at what I hope is going to be a wonderful event called Wheels for Meals on Saturday at Vital Spin Bar and Yoga Den. And a huge shout out to the ladies at Vital who are putting this event on for completely free of charge. And they're going to host us on Saturday from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. The Yoga Den, we're doing more spinning than yoga, but the program is open to all. And so it's in Grand Harbour, and it's going to be a fun-filled family day. There's something for everybody. So there are 5, we have encouraged 23 teams, each of 5 people, to come and join us each for 5 sessions of spinning and yoga. So a bit of fun on the day. Jennifer will be there along with many of our sponsors and supporters, and there will be fun to be had for everybody. And maybe we can come back in a little bit, and I'll thank some of our major supporters.
I have to give Lauren Marin is one of the co-owners, and Allie, her cousin. They're cousins, right? Of Vital Spin. So we reached out to them, and anytime you're asking for help with a fundraiser, you're like, okay, how am I going to pitch this? And let me make sure. So let me tell you about Meals on Wheels. Straight away, she was like, oh yeah, no, we're in. And I went, oh, you don't need my whole pitch. I prepared one. So, so that was, I think I was incredibly moved by that. Straight away, it was like, we're in. And I was like, oh, okay, well, let me all right. I didn't even know what to say next. And then straight away, because they've got the family tie to Hurley's Supermarket, she gets Hurley's Supermarket involved. And so they've helped us like on the marketing side of things, and they're collecting donations at her, like, so you can.
Right, they're doing point of sale.
They're doing point of sale donations. Like, it's incredibly moving to not only have someone straight away say, yeah, we're in 100%. Also, we're going to help you make this better than you imagined.
Absolutely. Yeah. And as soon as you walk in the door into the spin bar, you just feel like that. They are so warm and so welcoming. And again, like Leadership Came Man, just really want to do something for their community and the community in which they live. So we are, we're super.
Well, I'm so glad you shared, because I think that Ms. Vanessa ties into what I was thinking in terms of not just the responsibility we have for our community, but the sense of accountability and what, the authenticity, the integrity of the organizations bring. So Meals on Wheels, you didn't have to sell it. It has of its own a sense of credibility. There are many charlatans in the world. There are many, we say, beware the snake oil salesman across the globe. But in our community where we know, we can test, we can, validate, we can look at these things and easily partner, and it makes a success not just financial, it makes it so rewarding from a societal perspective. As we come back from the break, though, share with us some more. Maybe we can hear about some of the partnerships and the like. All right. Another 15 minutes, well, more like 13 minutes and 21 seconds. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
They say variety is the spice of life. And that's why at Subway, we are introducing the new Boneless Hot Sub. Say what? The premium sub brings new ingredients like spicy breaded boneless chicken, French's crispy fried onions, and buffalo wing sauce, bringing a zesty and flavorful experience with every bite. Add some of your favorite veggies, cheese, and ranch sauce of your choice of freshly baked bread for the ultimate boneless hot sub. For a little spice in your life, try the new Boneless Hot Sub from Subway.
So good and tasty.
And make it a meal with a drink and chips or cookies. Subway. Eat fresh.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Kim and Brack and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Are you tired of waiting in long lines at the pharmacy just to fill a prescription?
If what, child, let me tell you.
Well, now you can save time and money with ValueMed's online prescription service. Visit ValueMed's new website, valrx.com, and click the Refill Subscriptions button. Fill in your information and choose your preferred pickup location. Or email your prescription refills for ValueMed Walkers Road at rx-wr@valrx.com, and for ValueMed in Boddentown, email rx-bt at valrx.com. Say goodbye to the hassle of waiting in lines and hello to the convenience of online prescriptions with ValueMed Pharmacy. Visit valrx.com to place your orders today.
Did you know that once properly sanitized, some tinned food items may still be safe for consumption after coming in contact with floodwater? In order to properly sanitize these tins, always remove labels and then wash tins in a strong detergent solution using a brush to get rid of excess impurities. Tins must then be immersed in a solution made of 2 tablespoons of chlorine bleach per gallon of water for 10 minutes. Ensure that containers are air dried before opening.
For more post-hurricane food safety tips, visit DAH website at www.gov.ky/DAH.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. And not only thank you for listening, thank you for allowing us to be a part of your lunch, but thank you for this wonderful opportunity to facilitate and to be in the company every day of great people who inspire. As we talk about the Leadership Cayman program, if I may say, and if it's an exaggeration or perhaps an overreach, please let me know. But as was sort of evidenced earlier, it doesn't matter how long you've been in Cayman, it doesn't matter whether you're generational or otherwise. We can always learn if we're willing to come with a spirit to give and to receive. I think this program reminds us of what we have, what we can achieve if we work together, and the importance of so doing, because that stability, whether it's economic, social, political, or otherwise, will benefit all of us, whether we're millions or feel like minions. It doesn't matter, right, Ms. Vanessa?
I agree 100%. And I just kind of feel like education is life. You know, we never stop learning. We should never stop learning. Yeah. And don't you want to be like, I want to be that person who's still learning something in my 80s, fingers crossed 90s. You know, I mean, that's just, it's part of the experience of living. Yeah.
It is, man. It is. As we look at the program, share, and sometimes these discussions can, I would imagine, not unlike your seminars. You start off talking about education, and you wind up talking about so many things, not just how it's impact on your lives.
Holes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can take a look at the topics, and like Orla said earlier, it all comes back to education. We're talking about the environment and sustainability. Okay, it comes back down to, you know, let's teach our future generation to recycle. Let's teach them, you know, techniques on how to live better. We're talking about the, you know, criminal justice. You know, let's, you know, again, teach our current up and coming generation to be better, how to stay away from these things. And it all does come back down to
as
that.
you said, Miss One, I reminded my daughter, you know, in single digits at that time, I think. You know, she said, you know, an educated person makes an informed decision. Well, she's not even 10 yet.
Bless her heart.
All right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, sorry, where'd you get that from? Right?
So true.
And it's amazing the environment you create in teaching and learning. And I asked her about it, and we had a discussion some years back, you know, as a young adult. And she says, you know, education isn't pen and paper, isn't academic, it isn't, you know, at this age she's much perhaps more astute and still relatively young, experienced, as it were. And it's not about the education you get through university. It's about life learning. You learn to eat better and the impact of it. If you exercise, the health it brings, the consequence of your actions. And I think this one, as you shared, if we have a program like this across all sectors for all, so that it speaks to what we have, it's influential. It is for really... Sure. You know, transcendental, if that's the case, Ms. Vanessa.
I would agree with that. And I'm always, you know, kind of saying to my kids, you know, be critical consumers of information, but get the information, search it out. Yeah. Don't just find things that you agree with or that agree with whatever your opinion is. Get out there. And I think, again, like this program, it's, you know, it's bringing together these valid sources that are trusted, and, you know, you're getting it, you know, from the horse's mouth. And it's just, it's an incredibly amazing program. And people can register now for next year's, right, Swan?
Yes. Actually, applications are open. If you go to our website, leadershipkman.ky, you'll be able to navigate it and submit your application. We admit a maximum of 25 students every year. Like someone mentioned earlier, we go through an interview process, and it's definitely worth it. I'm pretty sure everyone that's done the program here can echo that. It's definitely worth it. And there's no other program like it in the Cayman Islands where you can just sit down for 6 intensive months and grill and probe, decision makers and key players.
Absolutely.
Something that I did, and I haven't looked at it in a while, but the application process. Some would go, boy, you need to find something to do with your time. But take the application process and just filter it for yourself. If you even have no intention at the time of applying, it brings to you. You agree with me, Sorla?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you kind of self-reflect
Yeah.
when you're on some of those questions.
Yeah.
And it's quite an interesting process to go through, as you say, just to query yourself sometimes. And the interview questions are interesting too. But it's definitely. I mean, it's a leadership program. There's a lot of learning involved, and a lot of learning about yourself, kind of through watching others and through exploring some of those queries. Also on the Chamber of Commerce website, and we haven't mentioned actually the Chamber of Commerce itself. We're talking about Leadership Cayman, but just to reinforce that it is a Chamber of Commerce program.
Correct.
And hugely supported and really well run by them. Also on the Chamber of Commerce website is our event page for Saturday's event, which is Wheels for Meals, and there is a donation section there for anybody who is in a position to donate. There's no donation too small, and everything, absolutely everything that is raised on Saturday will be going directly to Miss Jennifer's very worthy Wheels on Meals. Meals on Wheels. Here we go. This has been 6 months of tongue twisters cause.
Wheels for Meals for Meals on Meals.
Yeah, exactly.
So we will be doing Wheels for Meals on Saturday, like I said. So a huge thank you to the Chamber who have supported this, Vital who are hosting, Hurley's as we've already mentioned, and we have had a huge support from the many organisations in our community. I'd particularly like to just call out the Rotary Central Cayman Islands who are our platinum sponsor, and their donation is just hugely appreciated. Kensington Management Group and Walkers again, who are gold sponsors and are making serious contributions, which will go a long way to helping this cause. So, and also for anyone who is in Grand Harbour between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Saturday, come by. It will be fun. There are lots of, there will be snow cones and things for your kids, raffle tickets that can be bought on the day. Come by, sign up to participate in Meals on Wheels, and we'd love to meet everybody.
All right. Well, I'd say look at the clock and reflect in a few minutes. Perhaps Ms. Jennifer will give you a few minutes to share, and then Ms. Swan, you could have a couple of comments, and then Vanessa, if you don't mind, you could finish up the discussion. But Ms. J.
Okay, so just to encourage everyone to come out on Saturday, but also to think about what do you do with your time. A lot of people say they want to volunteer, but they don't have a lot of time. Meals on Wheels relies very heavily on volunteers. We have over 130 active volunteers who help us deliver 350 meals every single day. Sometimes people think Meals on Wheels only serves a very small number of people. Unfortunately, 350 meals a day is not the only numbers that we need. We also have a waiting list. So fundraising like this is critical to our operations. We all have been to the grocery store and see the increasing rise in cost of food. And our seniors, we're not just providing food, we're providing nutritious, balanced food. And so we encourage everyone to come out, donate. You can donate online. You can donate at Hurley's. Thank you, Hurley's point of sale. So when you've checked out, you can add a contribution to Meals on Wheels. You can come out and hang out in the rocking chairs on Saturday. There will definitely be something for everyone on Saturday.
That's the thing about Cayman. We all can make an impact.
There's a way.
Yeah, sure. There you go. Well, thank you for having us. I mean, I really, really appreciate it. I think, I would like to, again, pivot the conversation to Ms. Jennifer. How much does each one of your 350, you said? How much does one out of those 350 meals cost you as an operation, like to run?
Right now, we are saying it's $7 a day, but we know it actually costs more than that.
Right.
Yes.
Because you have to take into consideration the gasoline, right? The time that is being taken out to prepare these meals.
If we actually had to put a price tag, I mean, think about it. If you go to the store, a soup right now costs you $5 for a small one.
Right.
A small plate of food costs you $7 for a small one. If you have it delivered by a company, then it's another maybe $5 for delivery. So it's really hard for us to put a price tag on what we're doing. And on top of that, the relationship, the connection. We cannot put a price tag on that social interaction, that engagement that our seniors get. I actually ran in a little bit late because we took some of our seniors on a field trip for the very first time. We realized when our volunteers deliver to their meals to them, our seniors always want a little bit more time to visit. So we actually took them out today to the National Gallery, and they had a little tea and tour at the National Gallery. It was so great just to watch them interact with each other, reminisce, tell stories, go around and look at the artwork. Shout out to Nasaria Sakushalet. Her piece was the favorite because it had like the tamarind switch.
Yeah. Nice.
And all these little things in it that just brought back so many memories for our seniors. So it is so important for us to remember who caused Cayman to be the Cayman we all know right now. So we really need to go back to valuing our seniors for who they were and who they are, because we would not have the society that we have without our seniors. So even now in this hurricane season, look out for your elderly neighbors as we're all monitoring the weather. Meals on Wheels, I'm going to kind of change gears a little bit. We deliver 25 hurricane kits this weekend. They are filled with supplies to keep our seniors for 3 to 5 days if there ever is an emergency and we cannot get to them. We're delivering to 350 seniors a day, which means only 25 kits is not enough.
Right.
So an event like this weekend's, anything else, we will have food drives available, even something if people want to drop off canned goods this weekend, we can definitely have that available at the event as well. But really, as we are just looking around us, be mindful of not just our own needs, but those of who might not be as fortunate as us.
To whom much is given, much is required. Miss Vanessa.
I guess that just speaks to the sense of community that we were talking about earlier. We know it's here. We know it exists. Just please don't, please be mindful. Please don't forget those seniors around you. I was always impressed by, the volunteers with Meals on Wheels are amazing, but even you've got sort of team leaders in the different districts and they know all of their clients in those areas, and they know, everything from whether they have a food allergy to
the medicine,
and it's just so incredibly impressive. Just the amount of heart and passion that goes into caring for these seniors. But just remember, for anybody out there looking for something to do, there's a way to get involved in Meals on Wheels.
Yeah. I think, to expand a little bit on what you said about the society that our seniors have created for us, here is the Leadership Cayman program that is really helping our, decision makers today to, be able to become better at what they do and be able to pave the way for that younger generation. So I really, really encourage to anybody listening to go ahead and apply for the upcoming Leadership Cayman 2024 class. The more, the merrier. Yeah.
And as I was just thinking back to what you were sharing, sometimes you talk about mind's eye, but we see what we can do and what we can achieve if our hands and our hearts are aligned.
Right.
And I think this is a great partnership. Thanks so much to the Chamber for facilitating the Leadership Cayman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next decade promises to even hold greater potential if as a people we respect that what we have is worth cherishing, promoting and preserving, but it can only if we work together. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sterling.
Please join us after the break. We'll show you how the arts can make your life fulfilling and how that potential can be realized if, again, we work together. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Follow Radio Cayman on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio Cayman.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. Tropical storm Brett is forecasted to become amongst the first hurricanes to hit the Caribbean region for this season. It is set to hit the Lesser Antilles on Thursday 22nd and Friday June 23rd. In international news, the U.S. Coast Guard has just been given an update on the missing Titanic sub. Captain Jamie Frederick says they are expanding the size of the search to an area twice as big as Connecticut. He says they still don't know what a noise heard during the search is, but they are continuing to look in that area. A commander leading the search earlier told the BBC the crew may have around 20 hours of oxygen left. A former employee of OceanGate, the company that operates the missing Titan submersible, warned of potential safety problems with the vessel as far back as 2018. U.S. court documents show that David Lockridge, the company's director of marine operations, had raised concerns in an inspection report. The report identified numerous issues that posed serious safety concerns, according to the documents, including the way the hull had been tested. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
The headline news are brought to you by Health Services Authority.
Health Services Authority is now offering online payment options for patients. Patients of HSA can now pay their bills, including deposits, towards scheduled services online at payments.hsa.ky. The secure, new online payment system accepts debit or credit cards and is in addition to the available payment options of cash, check, and online bank transfer. For quick, easy, and secure payment directly from your phone or computer, visit HSA's new online payment system at payments.hsa.ky.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
John Theophilus Bodden, 1883 to 1969. Certificate of Honor.
Theophilus Bodden served the District of East End with distinction for many years. Several times he was elected as a vestryman. He was an ordained elder of the East End Adventist Church, which he served for 53 years. He was married to Claudina Nee Jackson, with whom he had 4 children. He was a seaman and later a farmer and fisherman. While sailing on the United States ships, he was shipwrecked twice. The first time, the men were with the ship for 16 days before being rescued. The second time, they were adrift in a life raft for 12 days. Mr. Bodden touched the lives of many people in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks. You know, sometimes with the rain, you want a little radiance. Boy, today we have it in store. So, through Miss Jessica Eden, the owner and artistic director over Radiance Dance Studio. You know, sometimes when we look at life, there's a way through song and movement, and dance sometimes can even cause us within our spirits to have that momentum. Even when we're seated and trying to be still, but to see what to me is the grace and elegance and almost the majesty of dancers as they glide sometimes across, the floor. It brings much. Now, to you, Miss Jessica, congratulations. I think your upcoming performance speaks to the commitment that you had, that realization of the mission. But share with us. Welcome. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right. Well, this one a little bit closer. There you go.
So this weekend, Radiance Dance Studio will be having its 4th annual show called Express Yourself on Friday, the 22nd of June, the 23rd of June, and Saturday, the 24th of June at the Hartwell Theatre, 7 o'clock. And you will be seeing performers from the ages of 3 up to 17. So there's a whole bunch of young performers extremely talented, eager to share with the island what they have to offer and their passion and a sport that they enjoy.
And sometimes, we may have a perception of dance, either through what we may have seen on TV. I always think of, the Russian dances, the Romanian gymnasts and the like. There's certain cultures that synonymous with certain things. I believe the beauty in Cayman is that we offer so much and our people can embrace so many opportunities if, as a community, we're supportive and our attendance at these events not only encouraging. So from that perspective, welcome. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
If I might ask, dance for some, on a personal level, I've enjoyed watching flamenco. I've tried the salsa. I'm grateful that I have a gracious friend who kind enough to allow me to step on her toes now and again as she tries to teach me. But for some of us, we don't have just 2 left feet. We have like maybe 15 toes that don't work together. Is dance technical? Is it grace and elegance? Do you have to just allow your body to float? Or even the worst of us can learn to dance?
No, I believe that everybody can learn to dance. It's more of just feeling the rhythm and going with
that's
it.
The secret.
Yeah, I mean, the rhythm is different in everybody.
Uh-huh.
You can hear whatever beat there is in anything,
Mhm.
any music, or even if there isn't any music. You can just feel something and you just go with it.
Okay. And I think, Ms. Jessica, from that perspective, even if for whatever reason, maybe we're a bit shy, we may not have that motivation to go on stage or even to take classes just to realize some own personal ambition. But if we sit in the audience and we watch, we can feel the rhythm, we can feel the momentum, we can feel the encouragement, we can feel the motivation. And it may not to become a dancer, it may be to excel in education or in some other area. It may be in your spirit of volunteering. How do you contribute more? And as people listen, I'm not exaggerating, something somewhere can motivate us to great things if we're willing, as Mika said, to embrace it. So this performance, over this weekend may do that for all of us.
I do hope so. Because the thing with dance, we think of it as a physical activity,
Mhm.
but it goes deeper than that. There are hidden skills in within dance and the training, because it teaches us about commitment, dedication, teamwork, being positive, how to overcome our negative feelings, how to release stress. So there are so many aspects in it. It helps us to keep ourselves balanced physically, spiritually, mentally, all those aspects that come with it.
Yeah.
So we see it as one thing, but it covers so many.
As an instructor, as Ms. Jessica shared, there is the physical. Dancers need to be in a good core strength. They need to have a lot of stamina and endurance. But there's a discipline that must be also mental to practice to get it right. Not just the expectation of the choreographer or the instructor, but your own standards. So as an instructor, how do you get your students to realize their full potential? From the 4-year-old or that 40-year-old who's saying, this is something I wanted to do and, let me pursue it.
As an instructor-wise, while you're teaching the skills to do that, you use words of encouragement to remind them that, they can do it. You need motivation. And, that helps with teachers motivating them so they can pursue what it is. So even, we telling them, oh, you need to dance out. You need to dance bigger. Dance more harder. So they already know, they need more energy. They need bigger smiles. They need to feel it.
And do you get them to, as part of their preparation, their training, to look beyond what they do on stage? Is it their diet, their sleep, their lifestyle?
Yeah, we constantly reminding them that, they need to take their vitamins. They shouldn't eat fast foods, on a regular, especially during class times or at class times, or, constantly drinking water, their vegetables. When they come to class, we tell them, oh, you can't just be lying on the floor because that drops your energy. You got to pick it up. So it's just about always reminding them to do things. They're still kids.
motivation and a sense of expectation, but then appropriate so that they're not overwhelmed.
Correct.
Ms. Jessica, that must mean sometimes you as, the teacher, for want of a better word, have to set the tone and the example and be that loving, nurturing person that gets them.
Yeah, and it does take a lot because sometimes their energy can be low, and you might be in a low mood too. But then you have to realize, okay, well, I set that pace and pull them up and say, okay, we got this, we can do this. And once that energy start building, then at the end of class, you all feel good. Just feel good from within because you have accomplished something. It might be small, it might be big. I know there are different challenges we set for them per class to master within a month, and when they see themselves getting closer to it, they have that self, their self-motivation. They're like, oh, wow, I'm almost there, look. And it's a big thing because for us, we see them when they started barely able to do certain movement, and then we on stage is like, wow, they've grown so much. And for us, that's such a big motivation. Not too many get to experience that. Fortunate for us, we see it, and regardless of what anyone might say, we be like, we saw where they came from, we see where they're going and where they continue to go and how far they are capable of going, and we try to make them realize that they have within themselves to keep reaching for the stars.
I think that's what we want from all of our children, whether they are biological children, whether they're the students in our class, but reaching for the stars, get them to be motivated and then like for them and for you as the instructor, how do you get them, as we talked earlier, to appreciate that this thing isn't just about your physical sort of presentation, your performance on the evening. It's a life. And saying that, is there a perception that you think we, the wider community, have about dance and dancers, and that it's only certain people with a certain body type, with a certain sort of approach to life?
Yeah, I mean, there are some of the kids come in and they think, that they can't do this because they are a certain body, but we just keep on reminding them that they can. And like Jessica said, you give them challenges and they can see that they can master it no matter what body type they are.
And I'm so glad you reminded us, because I think, Miss Jessica, many times we, even as parents, may not realize how inadvertently, unconsciously, we're signaling to them that could impact them and limit their potential, their interests. This, endeavor in dance may lead them to pursue something else. It may transform them completely, and they go from a 4 or 14-year-old, aspiring dancer to a professional in a few years where they have now become confident in who they are. They become purposeful.
Yeah. And the thing with it too is about teaching them self-love. Because our generation, how we perceive a lot of stuff have changed. And in the past, dancers were stereotyped as very tall and slender individuals, very flexible. But now you have well-figured women.
I like how you put that.
Yeah. And who, when they're on the stage beside someone well slender, you'd be like, wow, you're not even looking at that person. You're looking at that one who's bursting with the energy, who's feeding out their passion to the audience and saying, come and join me just by movement, not even by words. And that's what we definitely want for them, because in believing yourself to that extent, it feeds off to your career. And, some of them will be professional dancers. Some of them may not choose to go. Remember, choose. Yeah. They're capable, but they probably choose not to go that way and just continue feeding it off and sharing it with other individuals. And that's one thing we definitely encourage with our dancers. If you have an idea, if you want to do a dance move, share it with your friends and let's see what we can do with it and build. Because it's all about sharing. It's all about the whole gift of giving.
Yeah. And as you shared, it's evident that we're helping them to develop a greater sense of self-worth, a more positive self-image. That self-esteem that they develop will allow them to be that much better. As an instructor, that's what you want, right?
That's exactly what it is. I mean, they might not be professional dancers, but they can be, they can end up being a motivational speaker.
That's it. And that young lady or young gent, one day maybe on a political platform campaigning, maybe in front of a boardroom trying to convince that company that this is the venture to explore. It may be the person who's researching something and say, I need to do this. You never know where that may take that person. And if we limit ourselves because we don't believe in ourselves, we're denying the potential. I look back to your performances over the years, and I'm thinking that just being able to sit very quietly in the back, slip in, watch, step out, you get a chance to understand the potential that is here and how easy it is for us to consciously ignore that and dismiss it. That there's people in the island doing this thing. You know what I'm saying? Right? Let's not do that anymore, right?
Exactly. I mean, they can get somewhere, and it not just the teachers. The audience needs to help with that. It takes a village. So as an audience member or a person on the side, cheer them on. Show that they can do it. That they're doing something for you also. Give them a clap.
Thank you. That encouragement. So Friday and Saturday. Tell us about it. Tell us more. How do we get to be a part of it? What are we going to expect? And what are you hoping that we'll leave with?
So as the name for the show, Express Yourself, you will see those dancers expressing themselves to the best of their ability with the different types of dance styles that they have been introduced to and have been training in. These tickets can be bought. You could go to the audiophile in Commander Bay to purchase your tickets, or you can call or WhatsApp 926-1826 to reserve your tickets. And you can also, if they're not, if there's still tickets available at the box office on the night of the show, you can also purchase your tickets on the night of the show.
And many times in Cayman, we say we're too busy or there's nothing on. And sadly, after the event, we think, that was nice. I wish that was on. I wish I had made time even though we knew about it beforehand. We don't realize how much is available to us. And for a small community, the level of offering, these events in other areas would be heavily subscribed because we see the value in it. Maybe appeal to us and from the instructor's perspective, because it's easy to dismiss things. It's easy to very consciously say, well, there'll be a next time. But even a live performance, 5 nights, for the week, each night is different. The energy of the audience, the particular feel of the stage. You miss it. Well, you miss it.
And that's it. The next year comes, it's a totally different dance most times.
Exactly. Different people, different energy, a different age and a different stage.
Exactly.
I don't know why. That's the one thing I try to embrace with life, But we have choices, and sometimes we don't wisely, make that choice at that time. So 7 o'clock on both nights, Friday and Saturday?
Yeah, 7 o'clock at the Hartwell Theatre. And we really encourage the public to come out to see these amazing young talents, these dancers who are going to be spilling their heart out on stage. You'll have a heavy, cute appeal with the younger ones because regardless of what they do, they're just perfect.
Exactly.
And then you will have the ones who are advancing and they make the movement look effortless. And, the audience cheer, encourage them to even give up more. So when they come off stage, you may not hear it as an audience, but backstage we hear them breathing heavily because they exerted that much energy just so the audience can feel what they're feeling and enjoy that moment. Because the thing with dance is that it is an art form that imprints onto your memory. It's not like a painting or a sculpture. You could go back and make reference to it. You need to be there at that moment for it to live within you forever.
And it's the movement. I mean, maybe one of the reasons why many of us like to be by the water is the movement, and it's just something it does. I love art in almost every form, and I remember the first dance production I saw. It was kind of strange because I didn't consciously at the time realize it until almost at the end. As I looked around the audience, there were not many men there. And I didn't, at that point, make anything of it till some years later. But it was an appreciation. I credit my family for giving me access, encouraging the expansion of the mind to appreciate. And on the stage, there was this, I don't know, they said it was a human being, it was a lady, but the movement, I'm sure she had wings. It was incredible. There were no strings, and she could pivot and jump and pirouette and all these things, and the grace and the elegance. It was only until maybe 10 years later I saw the same performance, actually a little longer than that. The only difference was that at that point the body type was a little bit different. She may never got to the same height, but the fluidity of her movement, well, it was the same. So I appreciate you sharing, remind us that, you know what, you may be Maradona, or you may be, Socrates. Whether you're short or whether you're tall like him, you can still kick the ball.
Exactly.
It's just a matter of your passion and your approach, right? All right. Can I ask? Because some of us, we have a perception about when we attend theatre, whether it's a play, whether it's a poetry reading, or whether it's a performing arts piece like dance. What are we going to expect? What are some of the pieces that you have in store? Share as much as you want as a teaser, not the country song, not the soca, but what is it going to be like?
We have some contemporary.
Mm-hmm.
We have some jazz. There's hip hop. There's some soca.
Yeah.
Dancehall also. We got some Caribbean flavor in there. We have some Latin.
Mm-hmm.
There's a variety going on.
Okay, I'm not going to profess to be an expert, please, to the listeners. But I've been where, as you shared, there are different genres of music. The same dancer is doing a similar piece, but it changes. Or is it my eyes? The one that comes on the stage and moves to contemporary, or who made say a salsa piece. This, to me, is that the same person? There's something different. Is it the lightning in my eyes, or is it really what I'm seeing?
No, it's the movement.
Okay.
It's how they interpret the movement also.
Okay.
So it's not just, a winding of a waist. It's the length of their arms and their legs.
Uh-huh.
Where it goes and where it takes them. Their turns. It can be a low turn, a high turn.
Yeah.
The jumps are different. It's the movement in each piece and on how they feel it also.
I thank you, because I remember it was a sort of like a public field, so to speak. A little wooden stage was assembled, and these students were doing. And this is, early afternoon. There's no question about an attempt to try to light it. They're more like shade. And there, the young ladies and the two gentlemen dancing. And sometime later, this was a preview. There's another performance. It's in the evening. Their dress is a little different. The lighting is certainly, an attempt at trying to recreate something. And it was magical.
Costume says a lot.
It does indeed, right? To watch the rehearsal versus the encore performance.
Mm-hmm.
It's a difference, huh?
Yes. It brings it to light.
Yeah, literally. And I say that to ask us, if we've never been, to appreciate it. Not just for the encouragement it does. 4 to 17-year-olds, very impressionable years in a young person's life. You were a dancer once, right?
Still am.
She's like,
I keep trying to retire, but Jessica keeps putting me on that stage.
It's Jay.
Can never retire.
But if she can still dance, she's expecting it from you.
If I could, I should get up there. I think everybody else can.
I'm grateful that you shared that, because I want to say you've been doing this for a beat. It hasn't been just now. But it brings out the usefulness in you. Mm-hmm. It still reminds us that the body is meant to move. Mm-hmm. The body is not intended to be, stationary.
Yeah. And that is so true, because I had a knee operation, and for a dancer, that is an awful thing.
Mm.
But one thing the doctor said to me, as soon as I came out of surgery, he's like, move the knee or it will go stiff.
Yeah.
And I moved that knee, because in my mind, that was not going stiff.
Yeah.
And it is like with most injury, if you can move, get going, because you don't want it to seize up.
Yeah.
And the body is a funny thing, because once you stop it from moving, it will ache, because it's saying you haven't worked me.
Yeah, a body emotion stays emotion. Huh?
Yes.
And it's I realize that there's some giftings that may have been passed, to the family, and some of us didn't quite get those. Thankfully for me, it's an appreciation of what it is, right? And we have in Cayman so much that we take for granted. The ability to learn to dance, just socially if you want, the ability to perform in front of an audience. It does more than just bring joy, and entertainment. It brings fulfillment and confidence to the person. I see the time on the clock, but Miss Jessica, share with us as we close the discussion. It's this weekend. How we get tickets, where? Share with us as you wish, Mom.
This weekend, Friday and Saturday, Hartwell Theatre, 7 o'clock. Get your tickets from the audio file in Camano Bay or WhatsApp 926-1826. The tickets are $30 for adults, $15 for children under 15. It will be a night to remember. Bring the whole family. You will all enjoy it. Even if you don't think you know someone who might be on stage, you might surprise yourself. We are a small island. We know everyone. So you will come and you will see someone you know. Might be your niece who forgot to tell you they're performing.
she calls me out. It happens.
Yes.
Or they told you and you forgot that they did.
Yeah.
That happens too.
So you will enjoy it. Come on out. Cheer these young dancers. Boost their confidence. Allow them to believe they are capable of whatever they want to do.
Yeah. And I think even beyond knowing somebody, I think what may surprise you, that even though you don't know anyone, wow, look at the promise and the potential, but look at the passion, and that, sitting in there can inspire you. I'm really glad that you took time to come share with us. Now, maybe closing words for you, Madam Instructor.
No, just want to say that we're having a summer camp, and it's open to not just Radiance dancers, it's open to the public, our kids. It's on 17th of July to the 21st of July, 8:30 a.m. to 3:30. Then there's also 31st of July to the 4th of August. At the same time, there's also technique classes, which is on August 5th to the 11th.
And for those who don't know where Radiance Dance Studio is, would you want to share that?
We're located in Countryside Village in Savannah.
So for those of us who don't live in West Bay, it's right there. It's close. The rest of us is close to you.
Everywhere is close.
Yeah. Well, one of our listeners says, I got my tickets already. So I got mine already.
Well done.
No, and that's the support that our community has, but it's also the appreciation, that they have for our community. And for a small place, we offer a lot. You've been doing this with such a passion. I think I share your mission to make sure that the potential dancers are not only just realized, but they get that nurturing environment. They can be challenged through the instruction. They can realize that it may seem physically hard, but it's not impossible. And for those who are like some of us who may find it easier to jump because they're chasing a football, well, a pirouette and other little things may not be your forte, but you can still have a bit of agility, right?
True.
There you go.
True.
Well, it's a pleasure. And the final thoughts, Miss Jessica.
Just coming out this weekend.
All right.
It's going to be a beautiful weekend, and it's going to be a night to remember.
Well, I'm very, very grateful that you came on board. Thank you very much. I trust everybody will have, the time to see it. They got 2 evenings. Be surprised if you come the first night and you come back the second night and see something different. You can't miss it. All right. Enjoy the rain. I hope you manage to do as I have done. Keep your hair dry. And to our listeners, please be at the Hartwell Friday and Saturday, 7 o'clock, for an amazing performance. From the 4th to the 17th, to those of us who sit in the chair on. All right. When we come back, hopefully we'll join our friends from the BRAC. All right. We got a discussion for you. See, we cover all 3 islands. 1 West Bay, 1 Radio Cayman, all studio. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
How can you make a classic BLT sandwich even better? Well, by adding tuna. Wow. The land meets the sea in Subway's new sandwich, the Tuna BLT, available for a limited time. The Tuna BLT is exploding with flavor. Imagine crispy, juicy bacon strips on top of tuna, fresh lettuce, and slices of tomato, topped with your favorite sauce and choice of freshly baked bread. Enjoy the best of both worlds with the Tuna BLT from Subway. Subway, eat fresh.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I go in flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Summer Swing Camp, Summer Swing Camp. It's that time of year again. Learn a lifetime skill, not a project. Unleash your creativity at Creative Fashion School for your Sewing Summer Camp 2023. Develop a long life skill, a safe environment to express your creativity and meet new friends. Learn the art of sewing and more. Age 6 to 18. Enroll now for unforgettable 5-week summer camp experience. Camp start July 10th to August 11th, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Cost is $250 per week. Material and snack included. Join us at Creative Fashion School for a summer filled with sewing fun and more. Call 9280344 or visit our website at www.thecreativefashionschool.com. See you there.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
The 2023 Household Budget Survey is currently being conducted by the Economics and Statistics Office. The data collected from the survey will determine the items and the dollar value of these items that are included in the new Consumer Price Index basket of consumer goods and services for the Cayman Islands. Train interviewers with identification cards from the ESO will visit 2,400 randomly selected households across all districts. The Household Budget Survey will run for 1 year, ending February 2024. Approximately 200 households will be interviewed each month. The interviews are confidential in accordance with a Statistics Act. No individual data will be published or disclosed. Survey data are exempt from Freedom of Information requests. For further information on any aspect of the Household Budget Survey, please contact the ESO hotline at 516-3329.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. And this is why Radio Cayman has been and will always be not just the official community station, not just the station that is for and of our country and its people, but covers everything to ensure that we're inclusive. So as we tell you about things that are happening on Grand Cayman, we always, with great joy and fulfillment, do likewise for our sister island. So as we go to the phones and welcome Miss Yvette Gale on the BRAC. Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing quite well, Sterling.
Thank you very much for taking a few minutes out of your time and sharing with us. But also thank you for being a part of the Lions Club of Cayman BRAC and putting on events through your fundraisers, through your community service, to be able to ensure that the communities are served with not just diligence, but with a sense of love and compassion. So as we talk about Melting Pot, that is what, this weekend at Aston River Center, I want you to tell us more about it.
Sure, and thank you for having us and for having me speak on about this exciting project that's coming up. It's called Melting Pot. It is our Little Miss and Master. We have been doing this pageant now for nearly 10 years. And it started really as a brainchild of our club after we found that we were doing the Miss Teen Cayman BRAC, and then we thought we would involve the little ones as well. So the Little Miss and Master, it caters to our children in the primary schools, starting from the reception right up to year 6. And this year we have 12 girls who will be a part of the pageant. We have our mini miss that caters to the girls from the reception right up to year 2, and then we have the little miss that caters to the girls from year 3 to year 6. So Saturday evening it's going to be a grand pageant show, and it's called Melting Pot because one of the features is that we recognize that on our island we have people from different countries, different places, all living, working together to make the Cayman Islands a better place. So the girls will be featuring wearing cultural costumes representing some of the countries that live here. That's called Cayman Islands Fair Home. So that's this Saturday.
Yeah, and as I'm listening to you, I'm looking at a message from one of our listeners, and the person shares, as a fellow lion, I see the impact our projects have on our community, but it's not just about fundraising to support the various community initiatives. It's about bringing the community together to highlight who we are. And even though the message doesn't speak specifically to your Melting Pot project, what it did say that resonates with me because it highlights what you shared. We're a community of many different people, and that coming together, is what makes us strong. So for the Cayman Brac community, you talk about the Little Miss and Master. For those students in the primary schools, I guess.
Yes, in the primary school.
Yeah, it'll help them, right?
Right. Through the pageant, we're hoping to, and we have been doing quite a number of practices with them, where we take them through the art of public speaking in terms of like giving them questions, and we have persons who have come in and helped them in terms of developing that confidence in answering questions, even questions on the spot, which can be quite difficult, but it's also an important skill, a lifelong skill. So it's also about teaching them about etiquette in terms of poise, proper walk on stage, or even how they carry themselves. And I think for me and for the club, the more important thing is about getting our young people to become more confident, to become aware of who they are, and being able to represent themselves in our community. So we find that we have parents, and we're so thankful for the parents that are working with their children as we take them through the different steps and prepare them for what we know will be an exciting night this coming Saturday night.
And for those, even if on the Grand Cayman who may want to go across, but for anyone who wants tickets, how can they get them?
Well, we will have tickets at the door this year. The cost of the ticket is $10 for adults, including high school age, and then our primary, they pay $5, but our babies, they come in free. Those from Grand Cayman, they're always welcome to come and join us, as well as an important feature is that this year we will be having a special appearance of Miss World Cayman, Miss Liana Tibbet. She is also going to be visiting us this weekend, coming over for her own little entourage, and she will be at our Little Miss, the pageant, where she will also be bringing greetings. So it's going to be an exciting night for the BRAC.
This is where I think, as I listen to you, we can appreciate, and for me, I hope our good friends and family over at Cayman Airways, the importance of having that link. We could come up for the weekend, we could come up in the morning, be a part of the festivities, and then leave the next day, or if we choose, or even come back Monday morning and get to work or to school because of the flight schedule. But in sharing that, the partnership that the Lions community has, on all 3 islands, but the Cayman Lions Club in particular, I think that speaks to, the strength of our community. So with the 12 that you have, the 12 young ladies you have participating, your preparation that you were sharing, it's not just gives them that confidence for the night, but it takes them through their lives as well.
Yes. The Lions Club and Lions International in general, we focus on so many important areas of our lives in terms of health, but we place a big emphasis on education. We find that we serve our community wherever, once there is a need, there is always a lion, which is one of our mottos. So we try to serve in whatever way and whatever capacity we can. And we're always thankful to the community. As you know, we're a non-profit organization. So it is from this, all funds raised will be used back in our community.
Well, Ms. Yvette, we really appreciate you taking time, not just to promote, the wonderful event on Saturday, but to together, with your fellow Lions, for continuing to invest in our communities as you give, of your time and talents. In closing, any other thoughts you may want to share, perhaps reminders?
As I said, this our club is a non-profit, so we could not do the things we do without a partnership with so many companies and families. And so permit me to publicly thank the family of the late Lion Leeson Martin, the Honorable Moses Kirkconnell, Vamped Motors, Foster's, Burger King, the Bracknell Committee, NNN Auto, and Friends of Lions, our own zone chair, Lions Tony Rich, and Lion Debbie, and the Scots Development, and all those in advance who will be playing an active role in helping us. We're a small club, and to execute this very, very important project. So I really want to thank our sponsors and those who have helped and are continuing to help the club as we do what we can for our community.
Well, I certainly appreciate, as you shared, that partnership, that not just sponsorship of our financial wealth, but perhaps of our greatest treasure, our time and our talent. And I'm hoping that this, like many of your initiatives, continue to positively impact our communities as we as people, share of what we have. So thank you very much, Ms. Yvette.
And thank you for having us. So I'm hoping to see the entire BRAC community, families, friends, coming out this Saturday night at the Civic Center, starting at 7 p.m.
Well, I'm confident, the BRAC community always responds with such enthusiasm and, a strong presence. So I hope that the event will be a resounding success. Thank you again very much, Val.
Okay, then. Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. And with that, we'll just pause quickly. When we return, some open line, we might be able to bless you with a gift or two, as, we'll tell you when we return. 2 o'clock. Other events unfold in our communities, and here's another way for us to remind each other of what is truly a blessed place in which to live. So join us after the break.
They say variety is the spice of life, and that's why at Subway we are introducing the new boneless hot sub. Say what? The premium sub brings new ingredients like spicy breaded boneless chicken, French's crispy fried onions, and buffalo wing sauce, bringing a zesty and flavorful experience with every bite. Add some of your favorite veggies, cheese, and ranch sauce of your choice of freshly baked bread for the ultimate boneless hot sub. For a little spice in your life, try the new boneless hot sub from Subway.
So good and tasty.
And make it a meal with a drink and chips or cookies. Subway. Eat fresh.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
Have you been chosen to participate in the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey? Remember, if you have been chosen to participate, we cannot replace you with someone else. The survey is random and limited to 3,300 individuals across all 3 islands. Your participation is essential to the success of this important endeavor and will help shape Cayman's health services for years to come. Learn more by logging on to www.gov.ky/steps.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for joining us. It is open line, and 10 minutes or thereabouts before the headline news at 2, when we have a chance to share with you about something coming up from the Cayman Arts Festival. But we'll tell you about that after the headlines at 2. Right now, on behalf of Radiance Dance Studio and Miss Jessica, we want to give our listeners, complimentary tickets to their upcoming performance this Friday and Saturday night, 7 p.m. at the Harquail. As they said, their production is being billed as Express Yourself. Now, Mr. Carl, let me ask you advice. We got 2 tickets to give away. Should we give one each to 2 people, or should we give 2 tickets to 1? I don't know. What do you think? We give 1 ticket to each caller, double the chances to win. So it's for the Express Yourself dance performance this Saturday or Friday at the Harquail, 7 p.m. Now, 949-8037, 949-6990, or WhatsApp 925-32621. So we'll give one to a WhatsApp caller, 925-32621. To the first WhatsApp caller, you will get a ticket. You can use it, go yourself, buy others, and take, someone else or many others with you, or you can give it to somebody else. Let's take this call. Okay, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, How are you doing?
Excellent. How are you?
Not too bad,
Good to hear from you, man. I hope you enjoy the weather.
It's a little hot, but that's how it is.
Well, it could be worse, It could be like that country song, Too hot to fish, too hot to golf, but too cold at home.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah, man. Thanks for calling, man. Talk to me. What's on your mind?
Okay.
All right. Shall I give you a ticket?
If you want to?
If I want, of course I do. They say it's better to give than to receive. And with Miss Jessica, we want a partner, and certainly would have loved to, share the blessings.
Sure.
All right. If I might, though, only if you wish. The ticket's yours. Thank you so much for taking the opportunity and for allowing us to share the love and the gifting. But in the Cayman of today versus what you knew before, what do you see? Anything in particular that's weighing heavily on your heart?
Honestly, It's a lot, but people getting a telephone here all day.
Sadly, probably the case, man. Well, listen, thank you. Thank you for sharing. And just out of absolute respect for your privacy, would you just stay online? Let us get your information. This is what we need from you. Age, name, birth date. We need to know your blood type. Not just kidding. Let us just get your name and number. The ticket will be here for your collection, all right?
Okay, sir. Have a good day.
You too, man. Take care. Thanks for that. And as we take, the particulars, let's take this other call. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Dwayne.
How are you, Mr. Raymond, sir? How are you?
Yes, okay. Does that mean I'm the second caller for a prize, or it has to be WhatsApp?
You know what, sir? if all else fails, right, we'll find a way to get another one. But you will be the second caller, and if you don't mind, we'll happily. I don't even want to say give you the ticket, 'cause that's not even the love that we feel. We want to share it with you. So the ticket is yours, sir.
Yes,
if you wish. If you wish.
Yes, definitely so. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. And now, the physical collection, because the event is Friday and Saturday here, so you'll decide how you wish to deal with that, right? We leave that to you. But it's yours. All right, Mr. Raymond?
Thank you very much.
All right. All the best to you, man, and thank you again for everything, for all you do. And, this is what I like about what we have here. The idea that as a place in the space, if we were able to listen attentively to some of the comments shared in the segment relative to Leadership Cayman, it's maybe easier sometimes when we listen to others, because that is a perspective and opinion that we might share. It might be completely different from our own. And if we're listening to understand, not so much listening to respond, we might get an appreciation for something that we've taken for granted, a realization that we've taken it for granted. We might even get so, as would say, passionate about the views that we have. So, for instance, the love that we have for Cayman. So as our good friend Mr. Paul takes Mr. Raymond's, he's still there in line, sir, right?
Yes, still here.
Yeah. So Paul would take your details and thing, unless there was something else that you had wanted to share.
Yes, I want to give an update as the world is concerned about the survivors inside the submarine that went down to the Titanic. There is a large, remember yesterday I said that the world has these submarines that can bottom down there.
Right.
15,000 feet.
Mm-hmm.
That's 12,800 feet. If they could hurry and get one there, that's what they would need. Well, one has reached the area on a big research ship. It's a French research ship that got a robot that can go down to 20,000 feet. And as we speak here now, they're making preparations to send that down. And that will take photographs of the Titanic and all the surrounding things on the sea floor to see if the craft has reached the bottom and failed to move. And it has a robotic arm that can actually cut cables by robots controlled from the ship above. So if they find that it's entangled, hooked up in any piece of steel or something, that robot will be able to cut the steel and attach a cable and pull the craft up. But they got limited time to do so. They should have had this done before. When Monday they didn't show up, but I don't know what took so long to really get the deep water diving crafts down there. Maybe they were at that location, and to get there from a far distance away in France or other places, it only took today that they could get there, which time is very limited. And I want to give the age numbers. The youngest person on that submarine is 19 years old, and his father is 48. The next person's age is 58. The next person, the fourth person, is 61. And the pilot is 77 years old, Frenchman, 77. He's the captain of the submarine. So all we can hope that they're still down there at the bottom, and they will be rescued or they have gone away from that area. No one will know until we hear what the results will be from photos that are sent up from the robot that is going down there.
You know, as I'm listening to you, Mr. Raymond, I do appreciate, the time, but I'm looking at an exchange of messages with other individuals who are not only expressing the concern, like you are, but are also, weighing in and sharing, sometimes the perils of the sea and how easy it is at times to, ignore some of the things. So, one message to ask, in a few seconds, if you would give your perspective in relation to search and rescue. Do you have any particular thoughts? I do realize we're almost out of time for this segment, but how this should proceed, and what are your thoughts of its, being successful?
With the robot gone down to search the area, that is the only thing that can do it now, along with another man-made craft, another submersible craft that's from the British Navy ship, research ship. But the one that is down there now, that's the hopes that we have, that will spot whatever is down there and send back the photos are being transmitted from the...
So do you think this is more of a rescue or no, a recovery?
Yes. A recovery and rescue. They don't know exactly if the craft is at the bottom or the craft has wandered away, out of control, lost buoyancy, and just drifted away from that area when the malfunction happened on Monday morning. So we just don't know it. Only can hope for the best that they will locate it. If they can locate it, they will detach it or hook the cables on, get it back to the surface quickly as they can.
Yeah.
That submarine now, the Titan, it weighs around 10,000.
12,000? Yeah.
Yeah, 10,000 pounds, yeah.
About 21 feet long or thereabouts?
Yeah, that one is 22 feet long.
Yeah.
The one that the 5 persons are on, 22 feet long by 8 feet 3 inches high.
Uh-huh.
That's the size craft they're in. So it's very compact, and it's fiberglass and titanium structure.
Yeah. I mean,
so that craft is the best that they have so far in the world to do anything to try bring the people to safety, what they got down there now.
Yeah.
The only other one would be the one from the British research ship that there is 2 people on board that bottom the 15,000 feet at the Cayman Trough, the Cayman Trench.
Yeah. Well, isn't the Cayman Trench about, 25,000 feet?
22,000 feet. And quite interestingly, all of the tremors that are felt around the Cayman Islands, most of them are around Grand Cayman, southwest of Grand Cayman, southeast, etc.
Yeah.
And the last heavy one was like southeast of Cayman Brac. That trench is from like Hispaniola, south of Haiti, Cayman Trough, Cayman Trench.
Yeah.
It is 30 miles south of Cayman Brac and only 12 miles south of Eastern Grand Cayman, which is about 20,000 feet deep out there, 12 miles south of the eastern of Grand Cayman. Yeah. So that was a fault. There was a massive earthquake, and many hundreds of thousands of years ago that collapsed the ocean floor. That big trench is lying wide open, and it's active at 15,000 feet. It is now recorded to be the hottest place in the world undersea.
Yeah. But it also has some very frigid temperatures as well, right?
Yes, and very hot temperatures.
Hot and cold as well, from what I gather.
Bottom of 15,000 feet under the sea. Imagine that depth.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
The roughest 3 miles, just about 3 miles under the sea, and that lasts some trillions amounts of water, gallons of water. And they are burning live. There are 3 black smokers, like small volcanoes that are puffing black smoke out of the bottom of the sea there at 15,000, 3 miles deep.
Yes, sir.
And they're continually burning.
Right. Well, Mr. Raymond,
have a fire. Go ahead.
No, I'm going to ask you to forgive me and extend an apology. We've got to take our news, but thank you, sir, for keeping us updated, and thank you for letting us share with you. And as you shared, since Sunday, this has been something that has weighed heavily on us, and hopefully, despite today being Wednesday, that there's still hope of safe recovery for the occupants on that. Adventure sometimes bring great reward, but sometimes there are these challenges. So thank you very much, Mr. Raymond. When we come back from the news, please join us. We want to share with you some things, from the, violin, to sometimes the orchestral performances. There's much that we can offer in this country. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news. Brought to you by Tropical Plaza on Smith Road.
Private, public, and nonprofit stakeholders are participating in a biodiversity strategy workshop with the goal of developing a unifying vision and strategic priority to support biodiversity in the UK overseas territories. Invitees to the workshop will include representatives from 15 organizations. At least 41 people have been killed in a riot at a women's prison in Honduras on Tuesday. It's understood that a fight broke out between rival gangs, after which one gang was set on fire. Officials say most of those who died were killed in the fire, but others were shot, stabbed, or beaten to death. An investigation is underway to determine how the inmates managed to smuggle automatic weapons and machetes into the jail. And Tesla CEO Elon Musk has said the electric car maker will be in India, quote, as soon as humanly possible. His comments followed a meeting with the Indian Prime Minister, who is on a state visit to the U.S. The Indian government said it had invited Mr. Musk to explore investment opportunities in electric mobility and the commercial space sector. Mr. Musk said he was, quote, trying to figure out the right timing to make that happen. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news. Brought to you by Tropical Plaza on Smith Road. You know you've dreamed of that Mercedes, the smooth leather, the style, luxury that feels so good. Ooh la la. With the prestigious 2023 Mercedes-Benz GLA 200 up for grabs in this year's Lions Club of Grand Cayman Benzorama fundraiser. This is your chance to make that dream come true. Tickets are $25 for one, 3 for $65, or 5 for $100. Benzorama fundraiser tickets are available with Lions Club members and various sales outlets. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman Benzorama fundraiser supports numerous community initiatives, includes sightseeing, Christmas deliveries, restoration, and social services.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you very much, not just for joining us, but if I might once again today say, twice in one day, how privileged I am to sit at this microphone and facilitate our discussions. It may strike many that I do not like publicity. It's weird. I honestly don't. Beginning after my cousin said to me, learn to embrace it. I'm learning. But days like today make it so much easier, because from each opening discussion to the one we're about to have now reminds us that we probably live in one of the best places. We get to meet and interact with people. We get to enjoy offerings that, Mr. Marius, I'm going to say it and ask through you so I don't exaggerate. We get to participate in offerings that are probably only available or normally accessible to large metropolitan areas. And they're not just for us, whoever we think we are, but it's for us, our students, our children. So before we bring Mr. Wheeler into the discussion, Marius, thank you, and to the Cayman Festival.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting us at such a short notice. And we are happy to be here like always.
You know, it's something that, Mr. Reno, we probably believe, we probably say, we probably even try through example to not just demonstrate but inculcate into our children that they are repositories of knowledge, they're sponges. But for sometimes we're not seemingly willing as we, the adult, to make that investment, that time, because it is a sacrifice. It can be challenging. You're a coach, whether it's a sport, you're a coach because you're trying to get the student to master the math concept. And I use the word coach specifically because we'll fail to appreciate that, whatever that is, whether we call it, an instructor or whether we call the person a tutor, they're all doing the same thing. They're coaching, mentoring, developing that young mind to excel, to blossom, to expand in a way that is even beyond our adult comprehension. And when we see our students take up things that, like the violin, for instance, it's amazing what that child can do when we think of our misconceptions and perceptions of what a child is and what a child does. So, from the professor to the student. Good afternoon, Mom.
Good afternoon. It's so good to be back here. This is my second time on the island, and I already feel like home.
Yes.
Because it's so nice to see familiar faces, and now since my last time, I mentored 2 more students. Before I had come the first time, I had mentored 2 violin students. So, see, it's tightening the circle. I should add that. In my mind, and in some way, this is a silver lining of the pandemic. I do not think anymore in geographical terms. I don't think that right now there's much difference between a continent and an island because we are all connected. We have the internet, and we have, we can travel pretty fast, and our mindsets. This is the big difference between pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, has been geared towards communicating through technology at great distances. Now we don't think about that so much anymore. Before, we knew it was there, but we didn't take advantage of it.
Indeed.
And all of a sudden, we could, and we did.
There's an interesting book by Stanley Friedman, The World is Flat. And just the title should get your attention because our history tells us there was a big debate whether it was flat or round, and then there was a sailing, and they found out, well, you don't fall off no matter how far you get to the horizon. But it's flat, as you said, in that we're interconnected. That technology that allows the business some would say collaborators, others would say conspirators, to get together and figure out a product design and development to its launch. It also allows instruction. You could sit and learn the piano, the violin in your home, and your instructor could be somewhere across the globe in real time.
And that's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
And not only with the after-school music program on Cayman Island, but it's basically implemented by the Cayman Arts Festival, but for many other outfits across the globe. Children and music. It's even more, I would say, even more than children and sports. There's certain skills that can only be acquired before the age of 12, and certain skills that can be acquired between the age of 12 and 20. So I'm not saying that there are no adult amateurs that picked up an instrument, after the age of, let's say, 30 or 40 or 50 or 60. Actually, the other day, a gentleman stopped me in the street to tell me that he started the piano at the age of 70. It's wonderful. But when you are young, you just, imitate certain things, the way children learn how to walk. That's how you learn the motions around an instrument, especially a string instrument, which is really, really hard to learn. The first 4 years can be atrocious. But that's where inspiration and continuity matter. Inspiration comes from, your older colleagues, your professors, maybe, some other artists. You go to a concert and you see or you hear music like you couldn't even imagine it could sound like this. And continuity is the nitty-gritty of the everyday work, opening that case and doing what it takes to get a little bit better.
I wonder, and I appreciate you sharing, because we're told, there's a great plasticity in our brain. we're told that children are sponges, and I wonder, as you shared, that sort of expectation, almost through experimentation and research, that this happens at these ages, very formative. But I wonder if it's not only the propensity for discipline and, to an extent, the control as parents that we may have in dictating the lives of our children, but I wonder if it's the time. So take the 70-year-old who's probably retired, may decide, you know what, I want to make myself sort of more gainfully occupied, always dream to learn the piano, for argument's sake, and sit down. I wonder if it's that has a play into, no pun intended, into us taking up and pursuing that thing that was once a passion but never a priority because we didn't make time. Marius, I mean, your singing ability now has improved tremendously in recent times.
Yes, it's amazing.
You do as much as I do.
We you mentioned something about piano. I started piano somewhere 8-9 years old. After 2 years. So this is my story, and I hope somebody will get something out of this.
Yes.
At 9 years old, after 2 years, I went home and I told my dad, "You kill me, I'm not going back. That's it. It's done." Now at 40-some, I want to say that I regret that phrase so much. And all the students that we have in our program, this is every time what I tell them: don't give up, no matter when how hard it is. Especially now, thinking the way how we have designed the program, and we think that we offer as much as possible. We know that it's not easy, but continuing doing this consistently doing this. The sun will come on your street at one point.
There's another advantage. The advantage of doing this in groups. And this is where, it's a big difference between an amateur adult being at home and only doing this by themselves, and children inspiring each other, supporting each other. And this is where I want to get to our concert tonight, the debut concert of the Camerata. Finally a dream come true after how many years?
8.
Yes.
Already 8 years of work, yes.
Wow. To see this group of young players putting a program that they've worked for a long time, and some new things that we threw at them, and putting this together basically, in 3 days, making it into a real performance.
Yeah.
Before it was things that they did. Maybe, we're going to play this piece today. But starting with Monday afternoon, when we came from the airport, literally, to the rehearsal, we were all in turbo mode.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of a sudden, they felt that, this is really happening. We have to really play everything. We have to play it right. We have to play as an ensemble.
Yeah.
And this is where the inspiration part comes. This is where these leaps happen. They're not going to play a little bit better after this concert. They're going to play much better, because the quality leap in 3 days with such an event is what I know as a teacher, with my experience of, almost 3 decades of teaching, that they're so important.
Yeah.
This immersion, we call it immersion. So you do need, the every week orchestra rehearsal, but you also need these sort of intensive 3-day immersion where brains are on fire.
And this is where the instruction with people of your caliber, I don't like to use the word exposure, so maybe the introduction of our students to that level of teaching, that caliber, to the expectation, and maybe it's easy for, that big fish in a small pond, mindset. You're in Cayman and you're good, you're really good, but only when you see it in a global perspective that you realize how much better you can be, and to have someone of your caliber come teach with not just a nurturing perspective, but with an expectation that you can be so much better. So as you shared, in 3 days, very intense, immersive approach, they excel even beyond their expectations in a short time. When we come back from a break, could we ask more of you about not just tonight, but the preparation? The last few days, it wasn't a siesta. It was fun, but it wasn't just this thing that they did for tonight's performance. It's this thing that they'll take them through for the rest of their life. Could we talk about that?
Absolutely.
All right. And Marius, we're going to ask you to tell us how we get tickets. Your usual drill, all right?
Yeah, thank you.
Listen, this is one of many reasons why I love this place, why I champion it, why sometimes my friends may say, you know what, you're a bit naive. Well, that's okay. The innocence of a child should always go with you throughout your life. It's nothing like seeing things for the first time. Huh? Join us after the break.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Are you planning your summer getaway? Say goodbye to those outrageous roaming fees that can ruin your vacation. Introducing Digicel's Easy Roam Plans. With Digicel, you can travel easy and enjoy your trip worry-free. Our Easy Room Plans now come with double the data for US and Caribbean destinations. You can stay connected and share those special moments without breaking the bank. So, why you stress about your bill when you can travel easy? Don't wait. Visit your nearest Digicel store today and make the switch.
Why replace when you can respray? At Granite Express Cayman, we can completely transform your old kitchen cabinets with a fresh kitchen respray for just a fraction of the cost of buying new ones. Big news! Our summer special promo is here. We are offering kitchen countertop specials up to 50 square feet installed for only $1,595 CI for granite and $1,895 for quartz. We can make your dream kitchen come true and at a price to suit all budgets. Call 922-0424 for a free estimate, friendly service, fast installation. Hurry! Limited time only while supplies last. Visit graniteexpresscayman.com.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments from June 19th to the 24th at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email dr.portercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That's 946-9020.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thanks very much for joining us. And as we join our hands and our hearts, we're going to see how our investment in our children, not just through their musical education, but their performance in life. Ms. Serena, thank you not just for sharing of your amazing talent, but what is evident, a very, very passion beyond anything when it comes to instruction. So thank you. Before I ask Marius about tonight's performance, the violin, like a few instruments, there's probably a connotation like much. You need to be particular adept. You need to have a particular sort of promising potential and positioning in order to play the instrument. Is that really the case? Or can, even a caveman do it, as the commercial says?
Anyone can do it with lots of love and lots of work. But, this is, seeing actually, I saw for the first time in person 2 students in the Camerata that I mentored in the last 2 months. So that was also wonderful to see some familiar faces that I saw back in September when I played solo violin recital, and to see them also inspired by my wonderful colleague from University of Miami, Scott Flavin, who is professor of violin there and also conducting. So he serves the role of the conductor, the person they all look up to. I'm just a soloist. I come and play fast notes. But the conductor is the person that puts it all together, the person that really will connect the dots, that they trust and they listen to, and the person that really kind of challenges them in a great way to be the best they can. And I've seen young groups like this, sitting on the edge of their seats and looking at the conductor the entire concert because they want to be the best they can. And this is the beauty of what we're going to do tonight. And it would be great if everyone could come and show these young musicians that they have so much to be proud of.
And as a community, we can be proud of them, because I think sometimes there's an expectation that you can only be so good and no better because of the limitations that we impose on ourselves. So as executive director for the Cayman Arts Festival, Mars, you and your team do a phenomenal job, not just with seeking sponsorship, but with the programming and the expansion. So for the community tonight, a couple of things, not just the when, the where, and the how, and how do we get the tickets, but tell us a little bit more. Depends on what you say, I may have to ask.
We've been here so many times, so you know what we do. In a paragraph, I can say, in a few sentences, we work in mainly public schools, finding students, musically inclined ones, and we start working with them, polishing them year after year, and in groups or individual, we send them to camps, and tonight it's a celebration for us. It's the time when we are able to put together an orchestra with all the students that we work for the past 8 years. Some of them 8, some others 5 years. And it's such a joy to see. And you mentioned community. This is not a Cayman Arts Festival program. This is a community program, because remember how many times we've been here presenting our students, asking the community to come to help, sometimes with funds, or to come to buy a ticket to this concert. Every ticket that was purchased to one of the events in the past, somebody is listening to now, that was the time when they helped our programs. So they should feel proud of this. This is not our kids, that are the Cayman Islands kids. And tonight, it's such a joy to see them coming together, and we have Irina and Scott that they did in 3 days. One of the teachers said that you brought the magicians here. In 3 days, they put them all the pieces of the puzzle in place. And if you don't believe me, come tonight.
Well, if I might, Ms. Irina, not just offer up what I'm hoping is a complimentary comment, but it's something that we sincerely believe, and I'm inspired by the words of Glenn Enanga, who has shared with us repeatedly that this community, through its investment, whether it's a sponsorship from some corporate entity, whether it's the parents, finding funds for tuition in some way, that we have access to people of your caliber who come here, who feel the warmth and the welcome of our hospitality, but who bring such gifting that for us, as small as we are, we fail to appreciate the accessibility that we have, not just to people like you, but what is it that our friends in the tourism sector talk about, the air connectivity. We have that capacity to bring people in short order. To have you in our shores, many people will be very envious, because other jurisdictions, it's nothing to do with the wealth. I think it's to do with the welcome.
Absolutely. Well, it also has to do with the fact that what I see on my end is a very, very solid commitment to the education of these young musicians.
Yes.
So in other words, I don't, the seeds need to be planted in a fertile soil, because otherwise you're not going to see anything grow. And this is something that I also recognize because, from my experience. And therefore I'm also, willing and I want to invest everything I can on my end, because it's a give and take.
Plant and fertile soil, but you have to also tend the garden. Our parents reminds us never throw good money after bad. This, is your time, and you have invested because you see the potential fruits. But Marius, maybe the wider community need to see what we see, and I'm mindful that some still have this perception. Oh, it's a small place. There's only a few people. Chances you won't find, not even a stone, but much less a diamond. But there's so many diamonds, and yet we just cast them to the side. So tonight, where is it? What time?
It's John Gray High School, the new performance hall. It will start at 6 p.m. We'll finish by 7 p.m. Tickets, they will be at the door. $20 for adults, $5 for students. If they feel that they want to be there and for any other reasons they might not afford to pay, that doesn't matter. They just come there and they will see the concert. We want, this is a celebration, as I mentioned, and we just want as many people as possible to come and see those kids.
I know I speak for myself when I say this, that we have every justifiable reason to be elsewhere. But when we miss something, it's gone. And to have, as we've had with great respect, all of the master classes, almost all of the instruments. But a professor like you, a concert, a violinist on our shows, not just once, not just, one-time, investment, but that potential, opportunity for this student to build a bridge, to network. They may be performing at our high school hall, but short order, it might be the Carnegie. We never know.
Absolutely.
We never know. Your closing thoughts to us, not just as a potential audience listening to it, but as that parent who sometimes feel, I don't know, man. I don't know if I got the energy. I don't know if I have the money. I just encourage us so that we continue what we know is good. We just need that extra motivation.
One time I read an article that said that, when it comes to music and music lessons and music education, it's not the children that quit, it's the parents that quit. I, as a mother of an adolescent who tells me every day or every occasion he has that he has the violin, I made the promise to myself that should his future self of 25 or 30-year-old come to me and say, why did you let me quit? I didn't know better, but you did.
Yeah.
That will not happen. So I trust me, it's not easy, even as a professional musician, to have your child take violin lessons. But this is a promise that someone can have music for their entire life. Which is more than you can say about sports. I mean, I'm not dissing sports. Sports are great. Every child should be active and play sports. But music, you have that for life.
It is true, and although there are some sports, tennis, badminton, even football, that you can play socially and casually for life. With his permission, I have a friend, and Marius, it was your first sharing years ago. If it's okay, Marius has grown tremendously. His first appearance here, he was not as poised and comfortable and confident as he is now. So much so that I could leave him to host the show. And you shared about, your parents, the lessons and investment and your wellness. My friend, he plays the piano well. I wouldn't say he's an Elton John or Billy Joel, but certainly, he certainly enjoys it. And on many an occasion after a hard day at work, won't say what he does, but put it this way, it can be life-changing and life-saving. He'll come home. And he has a particular routine where he places an object in a certain space and he sits by the piano. And sometimes it's the most horrible sounding thing you'll ever hear, because there's, in his mind, an anger and frustration that the keys can emanate. And it'll transition into the most glorious melody, just something that resonates. And you can watch his mood change from what may have become the ogre to the prince, all because he's willing to sit at the piano half an hour sometimes the longest time. And if you've never seen it, it's almost it's interesting. It's what I've seen. Maybe you've experienced it, Miss Serena.
Well, every day. I spend an hour with the violin. I'm a better person.
Marius?
Yeah, you're right. I will.
Of course I am.
Yes. Well, I'm in your radio show. I have to.
Thank you.
You're right always here.
Oh.
I'm glad that we are able to share. I mean, I think this year I've been here 4, 5, 6 times. We had so many events, and next year it's our 20th anniversary, and we'll have even more and more surprises, and everything is just knowing now the history of Cayman Arts Festival, how it started focused more on entertainment. Now the educational side of Cayman Arts Festival, it's huge and put in the shade everything else, because everything that we do at this moment, everything that we what we create has the education as a main word in everything that we do. So we'll be here. We'll continue to be here. These are my 2 words: consistency and continuity. And I will repeat this over and over again, because what we do is growing natural.
Yes, very organic.
Yes.
I thank you personally, but as a community, we can see the impact. Mr. Reno, if it's okay to say, it's individuals like you that not only inspire and instruct, but it causes us to truly appreciate, who we are, where we are, and the value we can add to each other's lives. You've been a blessing each time, I'm hopeful that this is a bridge that we can extend,
I love being here and working with the young musicians.
Well, God's willing, 6 p.m. tonight, Marius?
Yes, 6 p.m.
Performing Arts, can we call it Hall? Symposium?
It's John Gray High School Performance Hall. It's a beauty.
It is.
Really
If you don't know and you haven't been to that venue, it's a new venue, amazing venue.
Well, for the community that is apt to, as sometimes justified, to criticize our politicians for their actions, if you've never been in the venue, we can look at it and perhaps look beyond whatever it is our perceptions and appreciate the space, not just the acoustics in this facility, but what it allows our students to achieve. And hopefully 6 o'clock tonight, it'll be a wonderful attendance. Thank you both, Ms. Reno.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you so much.
All right, 6 o'clock tonight, guys. God's willing, rain or not. It's a wonderful hall. It's covered. Let's get inside and let's see what our students can do. Until tomorrow, have a wonderful afternoon. God's willing, we'll see you then.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama.